Nancy drew Weirdness at Waverly Academy. A story by Arglefumph. Chapter 22, The Cornerstone. Nancy's phone beeped, with a text message that said, "Goth girl gets second B-seed." The goth girl got a second black cat note? Nancy asked. I'm guessing that's Mel, the girl with unhelpful ancestors. Nancy just went through all of the trouble of following the trail of clues left behind by Mel's great-great-great-grandmother. The trail led to a picture of all four of Waverly Academy's founders, standing by a Cornerstone plaque. Nancy sighed. It's not much of a lead, but I guess I'll follow it, Nancy said. She left the library and the building, going to the Cornerstone. As you might expect, this stone was on the corner of Ramsey Hall. The Cornerstone was basically a plaque which had the date of Waverly's founding, along with the names of the founders. Hey, this thing is kinda cool, Nancy said, tapping it. Suddenly, one of the Cornerstone pieces fell off. Ugh! Nancy said. She picked up the fallen piece and tried to jam it into place, but that only caused another piece to fall off. Ugh! Nancy cried. I gotta fix this before I get suspended! Nancy scrambled with the four fallen pieces of the plaque, trying to jam them together into the square-shaped hole. Eventually, she got it right. Hooray! Nancy said. The amazing technology built into the plaque from 1866 registered the fact that someone put the four pieces into place for the first time in over 100 years. This caused the front of the Cornerstone to slowly slide down, revealing a hidden treasure inside. Double hooray! Nancy said. Then, a white squirrel appeared and jumped into the Cornerstone. It picked up a shiny gold thing, then ran off. Not hooray! Nancy said. You get back here, you crazy squirrel! It was too late, however. The squirrel took the shiny gold thing up to its nest at the very top of the large oak tree. That evil, evil squirrel, Nancy said. I bet he's the black cat. Nancy reached into the still open Cornerstone and pulled out the only thing left inside, an old journal. It reminded Nancy of Trapper Dan's journal from White Wolf of Icicle Creek, or Josiah Crowley's journal from Secret of the Old Clock, or even Bruno Bolet's journal from Legend of the Crystal Skull. Why do I find so many journals? Nancy wondered. Either way, she knew what she had to do now. Just follow all the clues in the journal until she found the hidden treasure. No problem. Rita Hallowell was written on the cover of the journal. Rita was one of the four founders of Waverly Academy. She was the one who worked as a nurse for Edgar Allan Poe shortly before he died. She was also the one who was rumored to have gone crazy, which led to the story of the black cat that Izzy had told in Chapter 13. Okay, let's hope that Rita was a really smart person, not a crazy person, Nancy said, opening the journal. Otherwise, this journal will be almost impossible to decode. The first page of the journal talked about how to calm Rita's cat down by playing music on the lamps. The second page had something to do with a raven, or was it a crow? The third page talked about a celebratory dinner, made up of 9 courses, eaten with perfect etiquette. The final page said something about a group to protect the treasure behind the Dupont gate. This came with a picture of other Poe stories. Yep, she went crazy, Nancy said. Oh boy, lucky me. Chapter 23, Ned Calls. Our hero Nancy just found Rita Hallowell's journal, which was filled with obscure clues on how to find some kind of treasure. Nancy had no idea what the treasure was, but hopefully it would be worth the effort. I have a feeling that finding this is going to be difficult, Nancy said. But it's a lucky thing no one besides me has solved the Cornerstone puzzle in the past 150 years. That means I'm the only one who knows about the existence of this journal. Nancy headed back inside the school when her cell phone rang. Caller ID said it was her boyfriend, Ned Nickerson. Nancy decided to take the call. Ned, hi, Nancy said. Hey, Nance, Ned said. I hadn't heard from you in a while, so I thought I'd call. Did you get to New York okay? Yes, the flight was fine, Nancy said. I arrived here at Waverly Academy about an hour ago, and since then I've just been exploring the area and meeting everyone. So how's the case going? Ned asked. Great, Nancy said. All the girls here seem really smart, and they all like me. Becca Sawyer is going to be the most popular girl in school. Becca Sawyer? Ned asked. Who's Becca? Oh, right. That's the fake name you're using. Fake name? Nancy asked. Becca is more than just a fake name. She has her own personality and backstory. She spent the last 7 years in France, where she lived in a moulin. She learned martial arts and fought villains in masks. I even darkened my hair so it looks more like Minette's, Nancy said, referring to her adventures in Paris. Now it's more vibrant than ever. Becca's hair is so good that Heather McKay offered her a modeling job. Nancy, are you sure you're not taking this undercover thing a little too far? Ned asked. I mean, whenever you're acting, you have a tendency to go overboard. What? Nancy said. I do not. Remember when you were in that Shakespeare play last semester? Ned asked. For 5 weeks you spoke nothing but Victorian English. I had no idea what you were saying half the time. I was getting into character, Nancy said. It still made our dates kind of awkward, Ned said. So just don't worry too much about your cover persona. Try to focus on the mystery. Chapter 24, Perfect Etiquette. Rita Hallowell's journal contained obscure clues for about 6 different puzzles. Poor Nancy Drew was completely confused, and she didn't understand any of the clues at all. To be honest, Nancy was still kind of stuck on the fact that Rita bought an entire journal just to write on 3 pages of it. Fortunately, Nancy didn't need to understand the clues, because her to-do list interpreted most of them for her. Rita wrote something about silverware for a 9-course dinner, and the to-do list translated it as, learn more about what people considered to be perfect etiquette in Rita Hallowell's day, the Victorian age. So, Nancy went to the school library and asked Izzy Romero for help. Hey Izzy, Nancy said, do you know what people considered to be perfect etiquette in Rita Hallowell's day, the Victorian age? Izzy Romero was not impressed by Nancy's ability to use parentheses while speaking. They thought it was rude to interrupt people while they're studying, she said. Thanks, Nancy said. She slapped Izzy on the back, then walked off, checking that off of her to-do list. Unfortunately, the item refused to be checked off the list. Darn, Nancy said. Nancy was near the school computer, so she logged on and started a search on the library catalog. She searched for, please tell me the solution to this puzzle so I don't actually have to figure it out myself. Since Nancy used the word the, one of the search results was formal Victorian dining, the right spoon for the menu. Yes, Nancy said. She was ready to check out the book from the library, even though she didn't have a library card, when she noticed that the book had already been checked out by Rachel Hubbard. So, Nancy went to Rachel's room and knocked on the door. Come in, Rachel said. Nancy opened the door and walked in. Rachel looked up from her computer, and a confused look came over her face. Rachel arched her eyebrows and tilted her head slightly as she stared at Nancy. Hi, Rachel said. After a pause, she added, Who are you? I'm Becca Sawyer, remember? Nancy said. The new French exchange student. Oh, right, Rachel said. Her face went back to normal. Sorry, I totally blanked on your name. Leela was right, Nancy realized. Rachel does have a bizarre memory problem. Chapter 25, Victorian Stuff. Nancy was in Rachel Hubbard's room. It looked like Rachel had a suit coat and a faulty memory. "So, Becca, you get all the pictures uploaded yet?" Rachel asked. "Not yet," Nancy said. "For one thing, I still need a picture of you." "That's okay," Rachel said, tucking her hair behind her ear. "I already have a picture of myself that I can use." You do?" Nancy asked. "Yeah, didn't I mention it earlier?" Rachel said. "No," Nancy said. "Huh, weird," Rachel said. She tucked her hair behind her ear again. "Look, I can't remember. Did I tell you not to bother with Danielle Hayes' picture?" "No, but her name's been scratched off the list, so I figured that's what you meant," Nancy said. "Fab," Rachel said. "Listen, be sure to let me know when you get them all uploaded, okay? I want to move on to the next phase of the project." "In that case, you should get the pictures yourself," Nancy thought grumpily. But of course, she didn't say that out loud. Antagonizing Rachel wasn't a good idea right now, because Nancy needed something from her. "So," Nancy said, "did I mention I'm a big fan of Victorian stuff?" "You are?" Rachel asked. "Yeah, Victor's a great guy and I love all his stuff," Nancy said. "But what I'd really like is a book on Victorian dining. His eating habits are fascinating to me." "Oh," Rachel said. She looked confused again. "Well, I just got a book on Victorian dining from the school library. I'd let you borrow it, but I need it for this paper I'm working on." "Can't you switch projects for a while?" Nancy asked. "I really want to read that book." "Okay, tell you what," Rachel said. "I'm about 2 pages away from finishing the paper on the Victorian stuff, then I'm going to start on my math homework. Only, I gave my math notebook to Mel 2 days ago, and she still hasn't given it back yet. So, if you can go get my math notebook from Mel, then come back in, 10 minutes, I can get the Victorian book for you." Nancy scratched her head. "I'm confused," she said. "What does Mel have to do with anything? Can't I just wait 10 minutes for you to finish with the Victorian paper?" Rachel looked bashful. "Please, Becca," she said. "I know Mel's just down the hall, but I really don't want to deal with her right now." Okay," Nancy said. Rachel didn't like Mel? That was new information. "I guess I can get the math notebook from her," Nancy said. "Fab," Rachel said, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Thanks, Becca. See you later, Kay?" "Oh, one more thing first," Nancy said. "Who do you think the black cat is?" Rachel didn't look up from her computer. "I haven't gotten any notes, so I don't know, and I don't really care," she said simply. "See ya."